Today we're going to talk about how to find the real zeros of a polynomial function. First, in order to find the zeros, we need to find out a zero is a solution or it's a factor. So if you think about it, what are factors? Well, is 4 a factor of 20? Well, yeah, it is, because if you take 20 divided by 4, you get 5 with no remainder. So first, if you need to determine whether something is a factor, you're going to take the number and divide by the polynomial and divide by what we think is a factor. And if there's a remainder, then it's not a factor. If the remainder is 0, then it is a factor. So, first example was asking, is x minus 2 a factor of this polynomial? So there's two methods we can do it. The first is synthetic division. So in synthetic division, if x minus 2 is a solution, we're going to plug in 2 into our synthetic division. And we put our coefficients across the top, 2, 3, -8, draw a line, bring down the first coefficient, 2. Take 2 times 2 to give you 4. Add, we get 7. 2 times 7 is 14. Add, -8 and 14 is 6. This is the remainder. Since the remainder is not 0, x minus 2 is not a factor. Okay? We can do the same thing by saying that if f of c is equal to z, where c would be the solution, or in this case 2. So we're going to find f of 2. If you recall, that means take 2 and plug it into the equation. So we have 2 times 2 squared plus 3 times 2 minus 8. This becomes 4. 2 times 4 is 8. Plus 6 minus 8. So 8 minus 8 is 0, so our final answer is 6. Notice both methods, this actually gives us the remainder, and this gives us the remainder this way. In order for it to be a factor, the remainder has to be 0. So since the remainder is 6, again, it is not a factor. So let's try a few of these and use synthetic division to determine whether it's a factor. So in this case, x would have to be equal to -1. So in this case, let's review and use synthetic division again. -1 goes in the box, and then we're going to put in the coefficients across the top and do synthetic division. Bring down the 2. -1 times 2 is -2. We add, we get -13. -1 times -13 is positive 13. We add, we get 26. This is my remainder, so it is not a factor. Okay, let's try it again. This time, let's find f of, if we know in this case x would be equal to 3, so we're going to find f of 3. Here's my equation. So it's 2 times 3 squared minus 11 times 3 plus 15. So we have 9, 18 minus 33 plus 15. So we get 18 plus 15 is 33 minus 33, so we get 0. So therefore, we can conclude that x minus 3 is a factor, since we have a remainder of 0. You go ahead and try number or letter C. Okay, let's look at one final thing here. We need to be careful with synthetic division. If a term is missing, the place must be held with a 0. So let's review that. What is the remainder when this is divided by 2? x minus 2. So we're going to plug in x equals 2 because that's what makes that be 0. So we're going to plug in 2 here. Across the top we have 3x cubed. There's no x squared, so we're going to put a 0. There's an x and then our constant term. And now we're going to do the synthetic division. Bring down the 3. 2 times 3 is 6. 0 plus 6 is 6. 2 times 6 is 12. 12 plus 2 is 14. 2 times 14 is 28. Negative 7 and 28 is 21. There's a remainder of 21. And so that's what we were looking for. What is the remainder?